Hey, top of the morning if you're with me from the Great Pacific West Coast. And if you're with me here in anywhere on the East Coast, it's lunchtime. Carm Capriato Aftermarket Weekly, sponsored by Dorman OE Fix. Hey, we connect industry professionals willing to share their great thoughts and ideas to help us all rise to new levels of success. Good to have you here at Aftermarket Weekly. Good show today. Got my friend Reggie Stewart on with me. Hey, Reggie.
Hey, Carm, how you doing?
I'm great. Can't wait to see a tour of both of your shops that sit together on a campus that you have in a singular place, a Euro shop and an all makes all models. How cool is that? Let me see. Do we have a picture? We have a picture of the outside. Is that one of your cars?
It is not. No, that is a client car.
Client car. How nice. That's great. Well, we can't wait to see inside the business and to talk about both locations on the same campus. If you're with us on social media, please give us a like, check in with your city. Would love to have you even share a comment on any of the social media sites. We'll see it here in the studio and possibly comment on it. We're broadcasting to you live from the Dorman OE Fix studio. Always great to be here in the studio talking about all the greatest things that we do here to advance the aftermarket. Reggie, you were with me back in May, episode 748. It was always great to have you on the show. We talked about the lowest price shop is not your competitor. And, we know that. But, the information that you brought and you shared, no doubt helps people crash through that, if you will, mental block that in how to deal with low price competitors. And I love the premise of this episode. I'm not going to tell you all about it. Please go out and listen to it, episode 748. This Friday, the Town Hall Academy. This has been on my mind, Reggie, for so long. What's an ABC? What does it really mean? If you're a diag person, can you be an ABC diag at a certain level? And talk about our master technicians and mechanics that are out there that are so good at what they do with their hands. They may not necessarily care and want to be in a lab coat working with a scope, but aren't they A's? And sometimes we misnomer that. So I've got a great panel going to be on Tim Leslie, Ryan Koyman, and Matt Fonslow. We're gonna tear this thing apart. Well, look, want to thank Dorman for always being here for us, and let's pay some homage to my great friends out at Dorman. Dorman Products has become an incredible engine for innovation. They are constantly bringing new replacement parts to the automotive industry, and they routinely release tens of thousands of parts across all different categories. Now, why do they do all of this? To enable technicians the freedom to fix their customers' cars and trucks. To do this, Dorman has dedicated teams focused on different aspects of the vehicle to ensure that they are meeting the needs of the aftermarket. Although a lot of their parts are reverse engineering of original equipment, they also redesign and redefine solutions such as their loaded knuckles or programmable electronic power steering rack. Dorman has invested in these OE Fix innovations to help you save time, your customer money, and prevent vehicles from coming back to your shop. In certain cases, Dorman will manufacture aftermarket replacements so you aren't forced to go back to the OE. Hey, want to know more about Dorman? Visit dormanproducts.com/tour. Hey, thanks, Dorman, for that. Listen, Reggie, let's just roll up our sleeves and do some smart talk here about. And you know what? I love the premise that you've got two locations right next to each other. Hello, Jonathan. Nice to have you here. But I'm sure it poses some great logistical challenges.
The two shops right next to each other. For me, it's a win-win. The reason it came about was been in European repair for at the time that we opened this 12, 13 years, and of course, people that have European cars also have Hondas and Chevrolets and other vehicles in the garage. So opening up and the building next door came available works out well for us because we have one alignment bay for both shops, so we don't have to, have an alignment. That's quite an investment. We only have to have one of those, and yeah, so far it's worked out really well.
That makes so much sense. The duplication of the investment that you have in all of the tooling, all of the probably OE subscriptions, they're only a walk away. They're not a drive away. Or if you're in another city, was it capacity, Reggie, that you were looking for, or were you looking to add that all makes all models and it was kind of a different branding thing?
Both. The European shop is beyond its capacity. So bringing other cars into that mix didn't make any sense. But there's also there are enough differences between European auto repair and general service to make it make sense. We have two separate brand names because Reggie's Motorworks has been known to be a European shop, and just all of a sudden inviting other cars into that mix may not have made as much sense to our client base. So we opened Noble. We're in Noblesville, so we opened Noble Auto Service next door as the catch-all for everything else. And we also brought in. There's a need in our community for some more light diesel work and for some sprinter repair. And that's where the technology between the two stores sharing is also very beneficial, as we have the Mercedes Zentry computer that we use every single day at Reggie's Motorworks, where right now we only need it once or twice a week at Noble for a sprinter that comes in. And we have to bring the sprinters in this building because it's bigger and we have the larger 16,000-pound lift for it. So again, that walk across the parking lot is pretty convenient.
Yeah, how
I've
nice.
teased about getting a golf cart to go back and forth.
So how far is the well, we're gonna see it. I'm sure in the
Yes.
shop tour in a few minutes, but how far is the walk?
Oh, I don't know. 30, 50 yards. I'm not the best at estimating that, but it's the size of a dealership parking lot.
Dealership parking lot. So what came first? Is Reggie's in the dealership or is Noble in the dealership?
So Reggie's is in one third of the building that was the primary dealership building. So the showroom and the original major service bay is all occupied by a company that actually does like the epoxy floors that are in our buildings.
Okay.
And I'm in what was the truck shop and the detail bays of that building. Noble is in what was built as the body shop for that Ford dealer.
Ah,
So.
I get it. I can't wait to see it. So the whole dealership now is yours.
Well, I do still have the epoxy flooring company
Okay.
is in two-thirds of the primary building.
2/3. They need
They own it.
2/3. Oh, and they own it.
Yes.
So they own the building you're in.
They own the one building that I'm in. The property is two separate owners now.
Got it.
So, and then I'm engaged to purchase the Noble building and property,
I
which
got it.
is about
You,
3
you know,
acres.
there are a lot of dealership, there's a lot of buildings out there.
There are. Well, in my area, there's not a lot of buildings to do auto repair in. They're scarce.
Okay. Well, it may be in your particular place in
Yes.
Noblesville, Indiana, but still in all, back during the crunch, and I'm not sure a lot of these went to other industries. I get that. Um, you bit off a pretty big nut, it seems to me, but you had a business that could sustain and pay all the bills.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, how
Yeah,
nice.
taking on Noble, and you'll see it. It's an 11,000 square foot building, in not a super cheap rent district. So yeah, it was going in there and starting from scratch was a bit intimidating, and it's taken some time to. And we're still not fully grown into it, but we've financially grown into it to a point where it's profitable. But there's a lot more capacity there to make it into a really thriving business.
So in many shop owners that will take a 4-bay operation and they'll say, "Hey, listen, why go to a second place? Let me just if I have the property or a great rental agreement, I'll just add bays." In your particular case, you've got two locations separate a little bit, but you added bays and you rebranded differently. And one of the things I want to drive into is, the Euro specialists are doing really well out there. They have great businesses. Uh, they seem to not be lacking for opportunity. But you looked at the fact that I need to go all makes, all models. Was that something in the back of your mind you knew that your customers had other than Euro cars? in their car park. I mean, somebody may have had a Mercedes and maybe a Corolla or Camry.
Absolutely. Yeah, we saw it from time to time. And of course, we had clients that would occasionally ask us, do you also work on my name that car? And from time to time, we would accommodate them. Say it's February or September and things are, kind of slow.
Yeah,
We can bring that car in and take care of them, but we couldn't do it consistently. So there was that dynamic, and there's also the dynamic that in my town your options are a dealership, a chain store, and then there's a few mom and pops, but they're all in retirement age. And in fact, when I started this, my initial plan, I was engaged with a gentleman to purchase a 3-bay old school service station. And that property was, you've probably heard the term higher, better use. That property was consumed by a real estate developer that bought all the adjacent properties and built an apartment complex. So that's the way auto repair buildings in my community are going. So I just took, I did end up purchasing some of his equipment and the digital assets, the phone number and so much, all those
yeah.
types of things, and
Okay.
transplanted them.
Makes all kinds of sense. Wow. Great lessons here. Great and good stuff to think about. Appreciate that. Um, let's talk about some new listens that all happened this week. I mean, as we continue to, really knock out the great content, a motorist assurance program, MAP. I have to tell you something. I didn't know a whole heck of a lot about this until I met Jeff Cox, who's the president of MAP, and Jim Bennett, who's on their board. And boy, I have to tell you, this is something I think we should all get behind. Not only all the great state legislative laws that have to do with automotive repair, but you name the video about repairs. I think it is a solid program to get behind. I think you'll like listening to it, and I think you'll realize that it can probably really help your business. Motorist Assurance Program. The value of exit interviews was a Town Hall Academy that Matt Fonslow and Chris Cotton did with me. Really wide-ranging, good stuff to think about. Matt Fonslow's episode was with Sean Medbury, Jiu-Jitsu. Matt loves that kind of stuff, and they just knocked it out of the park with that. And of course, Hunt Demarest, pass-through entity tax, PTET, and he's the brainiac, business by the numbers with Hunt Demarest. So those are some great episodes this week. What else do we have going on here? Let me see. Oh, that's all great. Well, we did it all. Let's head out to the tour here in Nobles, Indiana. Go ahead, man.
All right. So we're starting in what is my office. This is it's a rather, it's a pretty large office.
All
What
right,
this
stop it.
was,
Put it on
yeah,
pause. Put it
pause it.
on pause. So, do you mean if I come to you, either I get a milkshake or a bourbon? What do I get here?
This is a bar that was built before I moved in. It's still a little unfinished. What this room was a band practice studio. This is upstairs at Noble Auto Service.
Cool.
And yeah, there's even, I think I'll pan around here, and that's the control room where the mixing board was. And yeah, when I moved in, all the walls were red. I went through with a dust mop, and there was a lot of glitter on the floor for some reason, and just some refuse but so yeah, that's my sit down office, and this is my conference room, and where I'm sitting right now.
Nice. Nice touch. I love that.
The high gloss door that was painted by the former body shop owner.
Oh,
This
hey,
is
there's
Yeah, this is a mezzanine that I plan to turn into a break and training room.
wow. I mean, when you've got space, you could do some marvelous things with it.
It is a luxury for sure. Almost overwhelming at times to figure out what to do with it. So this is below where we just were. This is kind of a shotgun bay. It's a little awkward to do much with it. So right now we store a couple of my cars, a couple of one of my guys' track cars back there, and then a client car that can't be outside. The little 911 and the Mercedes are client cars that are just waiting for parts or waiting for pickup or
Got it.
something of that nature. And then there's an alignment rack back there, kind of behind where we're looking right now.
Let's pause for a moment. I want to go back to a scene that I had. There was a truck with a sign in the back of it. I
Yes.
mean, was that on purpose? I mean, do you drive around town promoting the shop?
So that truck is it's a Japanese mini truck that is they're pretty hard to find around here, and it gets a lot of attention. What we typically do with the sign is we just park it out by the street, and we have
Okay,
little Velcro signs that we switch out whatever it says. But I also use it to run around town and run errands and that
smart.
type of thing.
There's your alignment bay.
Yep. Like a lot of shops, we've recessed it into the floor so low clearance, especially the Euro cars or Corvettes or whatever, can get on it easily.
Yeah.
We keep tools for the alignment machine here so that technicians from either shop can come over and they don't have to bring a whole bunch of stuff with them.
Okay, so this is the all makes all models shop, right?
It is correct.
Okay, all right.
So this would be the north side of the building. Here we're going to walk through the compressor room. This building's been added on to a couple times, so that's my office up there.
Yeah.
There's concrete block walls between the spaces, so it's a little segmented, but it kind of works in this way. All the techs have a remote to that back door, so they just pull up to it, click the clicker, and go. So now we're in the main bays for Noble Auto Service. So we've got a couple truck lifts. We've got 6 lifts up and down this wall.
So it's fed through the center.
It's fed through the center, yes. So when we get through here, we'll see
Oh,
over there.
interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
See, that was the original building, and that's why we have all these bay doors.
Yeah.
And I'm working with engineers and getting bids on construction right now to open that up. We just added these 2 lifts. So we're getting ready to open that up just to make it easier to get on and off of those lifts as we pick up production.
That makes all kinds of sense. The floors, of course, were probably done by the epoxy guy. And
That's
do
right.
you have any kind of device that helps clean them?
Absolutely. We have
Okay.
a big floor scrubber in each shop.
Okay. Wow. Talk about space, the luxury of space. And so the total number of bays in this one shop?
Well, right now we have 8 lifts and a couple of flat stalls.
All
You
right.
could you could feasibly put 12 bays in, but we've dedicated a couple bays to our parts area for now. So as we grow, and it just depends on how much we need to condense some of our equipment and parts area.
Why all the parts?
It's mainly just fluids and filters, lots of fluids and filters,
Right.
and then just shelving to organize the parts as they come in. So that's what all that is there is parts waiting to go on customer cars. We order them ahead of time, so try to decrease the amount of time the car sits in the lot.
Makes sense.
Air conditioning just got installed. That was before, that was just the holes in the ceiling then. So we have since put 3 10-ton units up on the ceiling.
Your guys are going to love it.
Yes, it's working out well already.
Does it get super hot in Noblesville?
It does. Yeah, we have a lot of we've got quite a bit of humidity, and we've got a lot of 90 plus degree days, anywhere from June through even September sometimes. So it's enough to justify it.
Now, when people come up here, are we going to have a chance to see the front, the customer?
Yes.
Okay.
So I did this in a weird order. We basically just walked a horseshoe around the offices.
Okay.
The offices are centrally located. There's key storage, key organization. This is our manager's office, Ted. He's not in there right now. We're actually getting ready to segment this into, we're going to put a hallway there to another customer bathroom and segment that into a couple of service advisor areas.
Okay, let's go to pause. Let me get a time frame right here.
Yes,
You acquired this or retrofitted this how long ago?
in about almost 2 years ago.
2 years. Okay, so you are in a constant improvement mode.
Yes.
Okay, I see. This wasn't I opened 3 days ago. We're still working on it.
No,
You got in, you started to grow a great business, and now you're continuing to tweak and upgrade.
absolutely.
Got it. Are those all your peoples? Are those
Yes.
customers?
So
Okay.
Ted is the guy on the left. Amy is our CSR. Those are clients there,
Okay.
and our nice little beverage station here.
Sure.
Not a huge client waiting area, but it's sufficient. Like a lot of us anymore, we don't encourage a lot of waiters, but we accommodate them when that's what makes sense to them. But typically, we have loaner cars and looking for drop offs. And give us a little bit of time to do a proper inspection and get our estimates together, things of that nature.
Got it. So will we see a curb appeal look? Are we going to get outside and see what that looks like from outside?
I'm pretty certain we have,
Oh, there we
yes.
go. Okay. Nice. Simple. And then I think you're going to give us the tour of what it looks like for Reggie's.
That's right. Yep.
And is that a walk over the grass?
It is. I'm not super happy with that. It came with the building. It's a steel walkway. Eventually, I see that being like a treated wood deck and some landscaping there. Just again, as a lot of things, we did good enough or dealt with the way they came, and we will evolve it. I like the idea of continually showing both our staff and clients that we're always evolving and reinvesting.
Yeah. How many parking spots?
A lot.
A
I'm
lot.
blessed with
Okay.
a lot of
A
parking spots.
lot of parking. So this is
Probably
Reggie's.
200 between the two buildings.
200. Wow. So Reggie's, this is the legacy building. Been there how long?
This has been here. I started here in 2011,
Okay.
and this space that we're walking into is a fairly small client wait area. But originally, this was my office, my service advisor area, and my client wait area. Then we punched this hole in the wall somewhere around 2014, 2015, something like that, and acquired that space over there to our left. Before that, this was all of it.
Tight.
Yes.
Very tight.
Yeah,
But
that
nice and
little,
clean and organized and inviting.
yeah,
Yeah.
we do a decent amount of volume out of that little space.
The Euro shop. Now, stop the tape. Is it when I'm looking out? Oh, I missed that. Uh, when I was looking out past the garage door, was that Noble?
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right. Just stop for a moment. So that's right there, Tracy. Thank you. So
Yes,
that's Noble's.
and
Okay,
Noble sits a little off the street, and there's about an acre of asphalt between Noble and the main street. And the long-term goal, as we look at the Reggie's building, I'll tell you that the long-term goal is to build a new building on that acre of asphalt for Reggie's. Because as you look at the Reggie's building, it's a square. There's a lot of square footage, but the lifts are stacked double deep,
got it.
and it limits the amount of technicians we can have without tripping over each other.
So you've got a. I see. You're playing chess with this footprint.
Yes.
Hmm.
There's 7 lifts in this space. Uh, in that particular space is about 3,000 square feet.
Wow,
So we've
that's
got
tight.
it is tight. It works, and these guys have gotten really good at working together. The 4 technicians are all up against the wall, and the 3 back lifts are kind of floater lifts with one apprentice in that middle lift there.
I can see how you need. Wow. Wow, how tight all of this is. You could just build onto Nobles and bam, you got it, huh?
Right now, if we hire another European technician tomorrow, which we need to do, we're going to put them at Noble, and they're just
Right.
going to work remotely.
Hey, are you big in the tire business, Reggie?
Not big in it. I believe in it, and we're pushing. We have the top of the line Hunter equipment in both stores, and we do enough to justify that. This is our humble little bathroom that serves both our clients and our team. So that's something that we would like to improve. But the way the building's laid out is difficult. It's like work with what you got.
Was that a loaner car?
Now these are my cars.
Okay.
This is my little European spec uh, coach built convertible. And this space back here is right now it's kind of my little fabrication shop. This is where I've worked on vintage BMW projects. I built both of these cars back there, and I keep my mechanics tools and my welders and those types of things back here. And the debate is when I'm going to get my stuff into a more personal space away from the business. But this bay that we're in right now is difficult because it's over a basement, and the ceiling is not, it's high enough to put a sedan up, but it's not high enough to put an SUV up. So it'd be very difficult to use as a production bay.
Wow, do you have equipment in there, huh?
Indeed.
Wow. Talk about building from scratch. Talk about having the right kind of equipment to bend and shape and build anything. Nice.
I just Now I just have to discipline myself to spend some time over there because I get caught up. I enjoy so many things. I enjoy running the business. I enjoy doing these things, but I also really enjoy fabricating and making things automotive and non-automotive.
Stop the go on pause. I love your roadway here. Explain that to
That's that's the roadway to the restroom.
us.
So in I want to say it was 2018, we closed the shop to go to Vision, and our landlords now I have undersold what they do. Like they do painting and epoxy floors and all kinds of coatings for companies all across the country. Like they send crews from Noblesville, Indiana to Salt Lake City, Utah, and beyond to do retail stores for Nike. They do a lot of business, but they, in those 4 days that we were closed, came in and completely repainted ceiling to floor and redid the epoxy floors while we were out being trained.
Excellent. Now, did they put the roadway in at that
They
time?
did, yes.
And your purpose of doing that was just to make it safe, or just to have
Just
kind of
something
just
cool.
something cool? I love that. That's cool. All right. Okay. Let's paint a roadway.
Yeah. This is my parts guy, Daryl, and our little parts room that we acquired a couple years ago when we acquired the office space. Or I think this one came a little bit later. This was like the last holdout. We keep just like taking bites of the landlord's building as we can.
Nice.
Our bucket of random bolts when you can't find, when you have some weird stuff that you're missing. Everybody needs one of those.
Yeah. Hey, you never know, right? No, but and there's no real training center area here, which is why you want to build something at the other place.
Well, we're going to walk into the break room, but it's tight.
Okay.
Um, we have company meetings there every week, independently in each store. And the break room here is actually, we didn't go to the break room at Noble. The break room here is bigger than the one at Noble, but not big enough. If you want to pause for a second, that table is wood that we reclaimed from a local grain silo that was torn down, and they reclaimed the wood and they shipped it by the truckload to upstate to New York to become hardwood flooring. It's old heart pine, but I bought some of it, and one of my guys and I fabricated that table for us to have a little piece of history and uh, kind of an interesting conversation piece in our break room.
I love how you think, Reggie. I mean, there's some interesting thing almost in every room. You've got an attachment.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
And this is a service advisor area.
Yeah.
So
Do you
now
have an estimator, or just guys that are doing service advising?
that is a great subject. Like that's its own subject. Right now, our service advisors do the estimating, and Daryl just sources the parts. But I love that concept of maybe the parts manager being an estimator.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys are having some really good success with that, and that's
Yeah.
something we talk about a lot.
Yeah, we've done a show on that. So just go to the website, type in estimator,
Awesome.
and you'll be able to hear that. And you're right, the parts guy is kind of forming up that dual role, so there's more focus and intimacy on the customer. Nice workstations for these guys.
Those are the cookies we put in every car.
Oh, nice. Is it a single cookie, a double pack?
It's
What
a
is that?
double pack.
It is a double
Now
pack, and
that's the advantage of having a European car. We haven't done that at the Asian domestic shop, and we'll see that Rosie's there. You can mail order those.
but why
Apparently,
not? But why not? What are you doing for the other shop? Are you doing water in the? What are you doing?
we do waters. We do license plate frames at both cars or
Okay.
both shops. We haven't found the right thing to separate the two, and they're more than they're an investment. It's $3 for in every car, plus the license plate frame, plus we wash every car. So it's one of those. I didn't want to add that much extra overhead to Noble just yet, because once you do it, you can't take it away.
No, you can't.
But those have been awesome. They show up in our Google reviews. They show up on social media reviews and Instagram and so on.
Well, it's one of those exceptional things that you do for your customers at Reggie's. How long ago did you say, "Hey, we've got to do something like that"?
Oh, I think we've been doing those for 4+ years, 5 years,
Okay.
something like
All right.
that.
All right. Nice. Wow. I mean, you can. There's nothing you can't do because you got the parking.
That's right.
You've got the facility. Obviously, you've got some work to do on and taking the pressure off of Reggie's, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're several weeks out right now. It's painful. I don't like that feeling. But it is what it is. It's a blessing to be so busy.
Beautiful signage out front. Is that right near the road?
It is, and the goal, of course, is to landscape around it and make it look more attractive. You see these big pipes back there. Right now, it is a major construction zone in front of our shop. They are putting in a walking biking trail, but while they're doing that, they're also updating the utilities, the storm drains, and so on and so forth. So I was hoping that we would get. I was thinking they were going to take part of our parking lot. They're not. They're narrowing the street. But I was hoping to get the city to do some landscaping for me, but I'm not sure if that's going to work out.
A lot of traffic out front.
A lot of We're not prime retail, but there's still a lot of traffic. This was the main thoroughfare in the 60s and 70s, maybe even into the 80s.
Yeah.
Now all the prime retail's out on the state highway.
Yeah.
Still plenty.
Every shop owner has a story, and it was so great to not only hear your story and the things that are going on in your mind and with the shop and how it flows and works, but to actually see the video of it. We're so happy to do this each and every week. There's so many great videos out there of all the great shops. So thank you so much, Reggie Stewart from Reggie's Motorworks and Noble Auto Service in Noblesville, Indiana. This will become a podcast for you to listen to. You say, well, how do you listen to a shop tour? It's really kind of fun. And if you pick up an idea and you'd love to see it, then go to our YouTube channel or on our show notes page. We always have an opportunity for you to watch all of our videos. Next week, Jay Malinowski, Faithful Tirecraft in Saskatoon. We're going to Saskatchewan next week to see Jay's place. Can't wait. Reggie, again, thank you so much for your contributions to the Remarkable Results Radio podcast and Aftermarket Weekly. And for everyone, we'll see you on the podcast. Thanks.